long before gold-roofed temples and powerful kings. The land that would become Thailand was alive with the pulse of the earth, shaped by rivers, forests, and early hands. Here, in the valleys and uplands of Southeast Asia, humanity left its first marks not with stone monuments, but with fire pits, pottery, and fields of rice. At Ban Chang in northeastern Thailand, archaeologists unearthed a treasure beneath the soil, a Bronze Age civilization over 5,000 years old. They farmed rice, domesticated animals, and forged tools long before the pyramids rose in Egypt. Their craftsmanship, simple yet elegant, speaks across time. This was not an empire. There were no kings. But in these ancient villages, the roots of Thai civilization began to grow. As centuries passed, waves of influence rolled in from the West. Traders and monks from India brought with them more than goods. They carried ideas. Buddhism, Hinduism, Sanskrit, and early systems of governance flowed along sea and river routes, transforming the cultures of this land. Southeast Asia was never isolated. It was connected, open, alive with exchange. By the 6th century, a new culture emerged along the Central Plains, founded by the Mon people. Their cities embraced Theravada Buddhism. Great stone stupas, wheels of Dharma, and early inscriptions in Pali and Sanskrit tell a story of spiritual devotion and statecraft. Dvaravati was not an empire. It was a constellation of city-states connected by culture, trade, and belief. Further south, in the Malay Peninsula, another influence shaped Thai history. The maritime empires centered in Sumatra. Srivijaya dominated the seas from the 7th to the 13th century, spreading Mabina Buddhism and linking Thai shores to India, China, and beyond. Even today, ancient temples in Chaya whisper of that southern legacy. To the northeast, another force arrived, this time from the mighty Khmer Empire of Angkor. With stone and symmetry, they built temples that mirrored the heavens. In places like Phimai and Phanom Rung, their cosmic vision was carved into every lintel and stairway. Khmer rulers brought centralized authority in Hindu cosmology, elements that would echo in future Thai kingdoms. And yet, from the misty hills of southern China came a new migration. The Thai peoples. They moved gradually, over generations, bringing language, farming techniques, and social traditions that would form the foundation of Thai identity. They did not conquer, they adapted, and in doing so, they became part of the land's living fabric. By the 12th century, the region was a mosaic of shifting city-states: Shangsain, Lavo, Harifunchi, each with its own king, temple, and trade network. The land was rich, but fragmented. Peace was fragile, and something new was stirring in the northern valleys. From the heart of the Chao Phraya Basin, a small kingdom would soon rise: Sukhothai. With it, a language would be born, a new script carved, and the first chapter of Thai history, in name and spirit, would truly begin. Before the crowns and conquests, there were stories in stone, in riverbeds, and in the quiet rituals of daily life. Thailand's roots are not only royal, they are spiritual, agricultural, artistic, and ancient. This is the land of origins, and the journey is only beginning. In the heart of the 13th century, a new voice emerged from the northern plains of what is now Thailand, a kingdom born not of conquest, but of vision. Its name was Sukhothai, meaning dawn of happiness, and for many, it marked the true beginning of the Thai nation. For centuries, the region had been dominated by foreign empires, Mon kingdoms like Harifunchai, the Khmer to the east, and the Srivijaya from the south. But by the 1230s, these powers were fading, and in the fertile valley of the Yam River, the Thai people began to rise. In 1238, two local leaders, Pho Kan Bang Klang Hao and Pho Kan Pha Moing, joined forces. Together, they cast off Khmer rule and established an independent kingdom. Bang Klang Hao would become the first king of Sukhothai. He ruled as Si Inthrathit, the founder of a new dynasty, but it was his son, Ramkhamhaeng the Great, who transformed Sukhothai into a golden kingdom. He expanded its borders through diplomacy and war, stretching from Laos to the Malay Peninsula. But Ramkhamhaeng was not only a warrior, he was a reformer. He is credited with creating the first Thai script in 1283. Based on Khmer characters, it gave voice to a new language and a new identity. He promoted Theravada Buddhism as the kingdom's moral compass, supported monks and temples, and ruled with a sense of justice and care. According to stone inscriptions, the people of Sukhothai were free to speak, trade, and worship. Ramkhamhaeng held open court beneath a bell. Anyone could ring it to seek the king's wisdom. Whether legend or truth, it shaped the Thai ideal of the righteous king. Art and architecture flourished in graceful Buddha statues, lotus-topped stupas, and elegant ceramics reflected both inner peace and outward pride. The walking Buddha, unique to Sukhothai, captured the moment of spiritual movement, graceful, compassionate, and strong. Though Sukhothai's golden age was brief, its legacy was enduring. After Ramkhamhaeng's death, the kingdom slowly declined. By the mid-15th century, it had been absorbed into the growing power of but its ideas of kingship, language, and Buddhism would echo through every Thai kingdom that followed. Sukhothai was more than a city of bricks and bells. It was a blueprint for a nation, and a symbol of what it meant to be Thai. In 1351, on the banks of 3 rivers, a new capital rose from the plains of central Siam. It was called Ayutthaya, named after the legendary city of Ayutthaya. In India, it would become one of the greatest kingdoms Southeast Asia had ever seen. Founded by King Yuthong, who took the name Ramathibud, Ayutthaya quickly grew into a center of power, faith, and international trade. Its location was strategic, surrounded by rivers. It was easy to defend and perfect for commerce. Over the next 4 centuries, Ayutthaya expanded into a mighty empire. Kings ruled with divine authority, blending Hindu and Buddhist ideals. They built towering prangs and grand palaces. They commanded massive armies, elephants in armor, soldiers in rows, and fleets of war boats patrolling the rivers. Ayutthaya's golden age was not just about war and wealth. It was a time of diplomacy and diversity. Foreigners were welcome. Persians, Portuguese, Japanese, Dutch, Chinese, and French all walked its streets. Merchants traded spices, silk, weapons, and ceramics in bustling marketplaces. The city was known around the world as one of Asia's richest and most cosmopolitan capitals. Within the kingdom, a sophisticated bureaucracy managed taxes, trade, and justice. Laws were codified. Culture flourished. Thai, classical dance, literature, and religious art reached new heights. The royal court sponsored temples, festivals, and music that still echo in Thai culture today. Ayutthaya also stood as a defender of Siamese sovereignty. Repeatedly, it repelled invasions from the powerful Burmese kingdom to the west. Some battles were lost, others won, but the spirit of resistance became part of the national story. Despite its glory, Ayutthaya was not without conflict. Power struggles, assassinations, and rival factions weakened the royal court over time. Still, for over 400 years, the city remained the beating heart of Siam. By the 18th century, Ayutthaya had reached its peak, rich, proud, and powerful. But beyond its walls, a storm was gathering. New threats loomed. Old enemies watched and waited. And soon, one of the greatest cities in Asia would face its darkest hour. Ayutthaya was more than a kingdom. It was an empire of elephants, temples, and kings, bold, radiant, and deeply Thai. Its legacy would outlive its ruins. In the year 1767, flames lit the sky over Ayutthaya. Temples burned, statues shattered. The great palaces fell silent. After more than 4 centuries of glory, the kingdom of Ayutthaya was no more. The warning signs had been there. For decades, Ayutthaya had grown weaker. Power struggles at court, internal corruption, and beyond its walls, an old enemy was rising again: the Burmese. In 1765, the Burmese Kombong dynasty launched a massive invasion. They swept through the northern provinces with brutal force. Ayutthaya stood firm for 2 years, but the kingdom was crumbling from within. On April 7, 1767, Burmese forces broke through the city's final defenses. Ayutthaya was looted, its temples desecrated, its archives destroyed. The royal family was captured or killed. The capital, once known across the world, was left in ashes. The loss was more than military. It was cultural, spiritual, historical. Ancient texts were burned, priceless art lost forever. A civilization built over centuries was dismantled in days. But the fall of Ayutthaya did not mark the end of the Thai people. In the chaos that followed, resistance leaders emerged. Among them was a military commander who refused to surrender. Taksin. He would rally the survivors, regroup the forces, and lead the people to reclaim their future. Ayutthaya was gone, but not forgotten. Its ruins stood as silent witnesses. Its legacy of language, law, art, and faith lived on in the hearts of its people. Sometimes, from ruin, a nation finds its strength, and from the ashes of Ayutthaya, a new era would soon rise. After the fall of Ayutthaya, the land lay in ruins. Cities burned, villages were deserted, the kingdom was shattered. But in the silence, a leader rose. His name was Taksin, a military commander of Chinese Thai descent. He refused to surrender to foreign rule. With only a small band of loyal soldiers, he began a bold campaign to reunite the country. He moved quickly. In just a few months, he captured the strategic town of Chan. From there, he led his forces westward, defeating rival warlords and reclaiming lost territory. In 1768, barely a year after Ayutthaya's destruction, Taksin entered Thonburi, riverside town across from modern-day Bangkok. He declared it the new capital of Siam, and he was crowned king. Under Taksin's leadership, the kingdom was reborn. He restored order, reopened trade routes, and brought back Buddhist monks to revive the spiritual heart of the nation. Temples were rebuilt, farms were replanted, life returned. But Taksin was more than a general. He was a visionary. He understood that Siam could not survive in isolation. He established diplomatic ties with China and other regional powers, securing recognition for his rule. Yet his reign was not without struggle. Taksin ruled with intensity, some say obsession. He pushed hard for unity and reform, often clashing with nobles, monks, and military officers. By 1782, internal tensions reached their breaking point. Taksin was deposed by one of his top generals, Freya. Taksin was executed soon after, ending a reign that lasted 15 turbulent years. But his legacy endured. Taksin had preserved Siamese independence at its most vulnerable moment. He saved the culture, the people, and the soul of the nation. Without him, there would be no Thailand. From the chaos of collapse, he forged unity. From ashes, he gave the people hope. And though his capital of Thonburi would soon give way to a new city across the river, Taksin the Great would forever be remembered as the warrior king who refused to let his kingdom die. In 1782, a new chapter in Thai history began. Across the river from Thonburi, a new capital was founded, Bangkok, and with it, a new dynasty took the throne. The Chakri dynasty, a line of kings that continues to this day. The man who made it possible was General Chakri. After the fall of King Taksin, he assumed leadership and became King Rama I. He moved the capital across the Chao Phraya River, where he built a new city from the ground up. He named it Krung Thep, the City of Angels. We know it today as Bangkok. The new city was carefully planned. At its heart stood the Grand Palace and the Temple of the Emerald, Buddha symbols of both royal power and spiritual protection. These structures remain among Thailand's most sacred and iconic landmarks. King Rama I worked to restore order and tradition. He compiled new laws based on old Ayutthaya codes. He revived classical literature and arts that had been lost in the fires of war. He united the kingdom under one ruler, one language, and one faith, Theravada Buddhism. The early Chakri kings continued this work. King Rama II and Rama III promoted the arts, expanded the monkhood, and strengthened the bureaucracy. Bangkok became the center of a renewed Siam place, where old values and new ambitions met. But even as the kingdom flourished, danger loomed beyond its borders. European powers were colonizing Southeast Asia, the British in Burma, the French in Indochina. Siam would soon be forced to adapt or be swallowed by empire. But for now, in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, Siam was strong again, its monarchy restored, its capital rising, its people rebuilding. Bangkok was more than a new city. It was a symbol of rebirth, a declaration that Siam had not only survived but was ready to shape its future. And under the Chakri kings, that future was just beginning. By the mid-19th century, the world around Siam was changing. Colonial powers had taken hold of Southeast Asia. The British ruled Burma and Malaya. The French controlled Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Only one nation in the region remained independent, Siam, and to stay that way, it would need to change. In 1851, King Mongkut ascended the throne. Known as Rama IV, he was no ordinary monarch. Before becoming king, he spent 27 years as a Buddhist monk, mastering science, religion, and languages. He welcomed Western knowledge, studied astronomy, and negotiated with foreign powers. Mongkut opened Siam to the world on Siam's terms. He signed treaties with Britain, the United States, and France. These agreements brought trade and technology, but also threats to sovereignty. Monk had understood that to survive, Siam had to modernize but without being colonized. His son, King Chulalongkorn Rama, they continued this mission with even greater ambition. He reformed the administration, abolished slavery, and built the country's first modern railways and schools. He sent royal family members to study in Europe. He modernized the military and legal systems, reducing the influence of powerful nobles. But Chulalongkorn also had to make painful sacrifices. To keep Siam independent, he gave up territory ceding, Laos to the French and parts of Malaya to the British. It was a delicate balance of diplomacy and these were not just reforms. They were a quiet revolution transforming Siam from a traditional kingdom into a modern nation. And at the center of it all was the monarchy. Chulalongkorn became deeply beloved. Portraits of him still hang in homes across Thailand. He was seen not just as a ruler, but as the father of the nation. Under his reign, Siam gained a new sense of identity, a nation rooted in tradition, yet unafraid to change. As the 20th century approached, the world was entering a new age, and Siam, guided by wise monarchs and a deep sense of independence, was ready to meet it. The 20th century dawned with promise and peril. For over 100 years, Siam had resisted colonization. It stood alone as Southeast Asia's only independent nation. But change was coming not from outside, but from within. In 1932, a quiet revolution changed everything. A group of civilians and military officers staged a bloodless coup. They ended centuries of absolute monarchy. Siam became a constitutional monarchy, governed by law, not by royal decree. The king would remain a symbol of unity, but power now rested with a parliament and with the people. It was a turning point, a new flag, a new anthem, a new identity. And in 1939, a new name. Siam became Thailand, land of the free. But freedom came at a cost. World War II swept across the region. Thailand allied with Japan, but also nurtured a resistance movement. It walked a fine line protecting its independence while navigating global war. After the war, Thailand emerged, scarred but sovereign. In the decades that followed, the nation struggled with coups, military rule, and political unrest. But it also grew economically, culturally, globally. Throughout this turbulent era, one figure stood as a pillar of stability. King Bhumibol Rama Ikes. He reigned for over 70 years, the longest-serving monarch in Thai history. Deeply respected, he guided the country through crisis and change. He championed rural development, education, and national unity. Thailand modernized rapidly in the late 20th century. From rice fields to high-rises, from tradition to technology, it became a hub for tourism, industry, and culture, blending ancient heritage with global ambition. But even in its transformation, Thailand remained uniquely Thai. Its monarchy, its temples, its language and customs rooted deeply in the past, yet looking toward the future. Today, Thailand stands as a dynamic nation in the heart of Southeast Asia, shaped by centuries of kings and commoners, of war and wisdom, of collapse and rebirth. It is a nation transformed but never conquered. A land of resilience, faith, and fierce independence. From Sukhothai to Bangkok, from ancient stone to neon lights, Thailand's story is still being written. Thailand's story is one of survival, strength, and soul. From sacred stone inscriptions in Sukhothai to the glittering temples of Bangkok, this land has witnessed kingdoms rise, empires fall, and a people endure. Each era left its mark. The wisdom of Sukhothai, the grandeur of Ayutthaya, the resilience of Thonburi, the transformation of modern Thailand. Time and again, the Thai people have faced war, invasion, revolution, and reform. But through it all, they have preserved their culture, their monarchy, and their independence. In a region shaped by colonial borders and foreign rule, Thailand stood apart, not untouched but unbroken, not frozen in tradition but never lost in change. The monarchy remains at the heart of national identity. Buddhism continues to shape daily life. Festivals, language, music, and art all carry echoes of centuries past. Yet Thailand is not a museum of history. It is a living, breathing nation, a place where the old and the new coexist. Monks with smartphones, skyscrapers beside sacred shrines. Thailand today is a crossroads of East and West, of modern ambition and timeless spirit. Its influence reaches across Southeast Asia and beyond, and its history is not just a story of rulers and wars, it is the story of the Thai people, farmers and artisans, soldiers and scholars, kings and citizens, all who shaped a nation that refused to fade. From the first stone carved in Sukhothai to the bustling streets of Bangkok, Thailand carries its past into the future with grace and pride. This is not just history, this is heritage, this is Thailand.